Okay, so unfortunately I don't really have a horse that is not used to fly spray at this particular moment in time, but Duke is probably my most recent fly spray graduate, so to speak. So he was afraid of water, he was afraid of sprays, he was afraid of everything. Sadie, get out. All right, let's try this again. So Duke is probably my most recent grad when it comes to getting used to fly spray. And so I thought I'd use him because he was terrified of water. He was terrified of sprays. Sometimes the sprays will still kind of give him a bit of a start. So when they do, hopefully we'll catch it a little bit on camera and we can explain how to deal with it. So the first thing that we do is we're working with a bottle of water, and I'm just going to try and get him to be interested. Show a little interest in it. Good boy. Almost like target training. I want him to smell it. I want him to realize it's not going to hurt him. At this stage, we can progress to actually bringing it up and around him. So we want him to be okay with it. Now you'll notice a couple of things, and I want you to understand that it doesn't matter how old Duke is or how comfortable he is with the spray bottle. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going crazy super slow. The reason for that is when it comes to horses, their natural predator is a large cat. Large cats stalk their prey. If you creep up on your horse when you're trying to do something, you're actually causing it to alert. So you don't want to do anything super slow. What you want to do is you want to do it in a rhythm. You want to do it, good boy, yes, isn't that interesting? Good job. You want to do it in a rhythm. You want to do it at a certain level of speed, and just kind of find what that speed is that's comfortable for you and comfortable for the horse, and kind of stick with it. The next thing that we're going to do, actually, before we go to the next thing, let me just explain that you'll notice when I went to go and touch him, I didn't start down at the legs. I didn't start trying to walk beside him and go to his rump. I started up here, okay? And this is kind of where we're going to start everything for the fly spray. We will progress to the rest of him. But starting here, basically what we're going to do is we're just going to get used to him seeing that the bottle is moving. Good boy. And he's nuzzling me back. He thinks I'm giving him a good grooming session here. But if you can find, if your horse has a spot that they like scratched, and you can find that and you can give him a good scratch while you've got the bottle in your hand, that's phenomenal, okay? And again, that all starts from him touching it and realizing that it's not going to bother him. And we might end up getting to here on the first day, so we're not actually able to touch him yet, but it's going to be beside him. And that's okay if that's what we're able to do. So that's the first step. The next step is to take this bottle, same bottle, and to give it a shake. And the reason that we do that is because when you're fly spraying, the bottle makes a weird sound, right? And we want him to become accustomed to that. So we're going to give it a shake. And you'll notice in this bottle, actually you won't notice because I didn't use a colored liquid, but I have the water all the way up to here. So I only have about this much of space that allows this liquid to move. So the reason for that is that the more space I have, the more sound it's going to make. So I don't want to make huge sounds, huge sloshing sounds at the beginning. I want to keep them fairly small. Next thing that we're going to do is you're going to take your fly spray and you're going to, nowhere near him, just spray. So a lot of horses have a problem with the sound. If your horse is a problem that has, if your horse is the type that has more of a problem with the sound than they do with the feeling of water or wetness on them, then we're going to start making the sound randomly. So you're just going to come in here, you're going to shake this bottle, not spraying at this point, and we're just going to go. And you're going to be able to move this bottle anywhere closer. And again, now, if he moves away and gets really worried about it, we take it back a step. So we never want to push them to the point where we're flooding. We want them to understand that this makes sound, that this is making a sound as well. And if he were to get worried about it, I'd bring it back down to this stage. So you want to bring them back down to the last stage that they were comfortable with. Get them comfortable again, tell them they're good, and then proceed back to doing the thing that was worrying them. When they get really worried, stop doing it, bring it back to where they were comfortable with it, and then rinse and repeat. So horses are experiential learners. So the more that he learns that this water bottle or this spray bottle isn't going to harm him, the more he's going to be accepting of it. So once we're able to get him okay with that sound and we're able to spray off to the side, then we're going to start bringing it a little bit closer. So again, I'm not going directly into him because you've already identified, or in a lot of cases, people have identified that there is a horse that is, well, they need some work. They need to learn how to accept fly spray. They're a little bit nervous. So in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to go kind of at a 45. So instead of being here, we're going to go at a 45. And again, we're going to spray. Now, if I can get my horse to investigate this spray bottle as or after I've sprayed it, that's a huge win, okay? Because now, again, they're looking at it and they're thinking, this is something that's foreign, this is something to look into, not necessarily something to fear. Okay, when it does come time to start spraying them, so we've gradually moved our way closer, what we're going to do is we are not going to do what a lot of people will suggest, which is to start at the legs. Don't start at the legs. When you're starting at the legs, it's really easy for them to pop them up. It's really easy to, that's kind of asking them to move. So the way that I start things off whenever I'm introducing something new like a spray is I go for main mass. Duke, we don't need you turning this way, babe. I know. You're wondering why you're standing out here. Good boy. It's okay. So we go for main body mass. I want to be getting him right in this area here. So midline, chest, and up to here. This is where it is. It's not close to the eye. It's not close to the ear. So again, I'm not making this sound super strong by coming up to his ear. I'm not freaking him out by bringing him something that he's already shown he's a little concerned about close to his eye. I'm bringing him something somewhere where I've just been petting. Now, this is where it's important that you want to be reassuring as well. So when you do come in and you start to spray them, and you spray them here, don't go super slow again. So you want to make it a nice, quick thing. Now, if he were to freak out, I'm going to let him freak out. Okay? He's going to fly back to maybe to the end of the lead rope. That's okay. I'm not going to lose my cool. Just going to wait for him to take a minute and realize that the spray bottle did not kill him. I'm going to wait for him to start to come back towards me. I'm going to try and encourage him to look at it again. Okay? We're not going to be chasing him around. We want him coming to us. The other thing that you can do to make this a little bit easier is you can get to a point where you might want to hold the spray in the same hand as your lead rope, and you spray and smooth. So that smoothing helps them to think about it a little bit differently. So it's now you're giving them a pet, right? So we're going to spray and smooth. Okay? And this is the area that we want to work on. Okay? once we can work on that area, moving on to the rest of the body is not going to be as difficult. Because again, once we start moving back here, okay, and he does some sort of a reaction, he moves away, again, we're going to encourage him to come back. We're going to encourage him to come back. We're going to encourage him to look at the bottle again, realize that it's not going to harm him. We're going to give him pets. We're going to tell him he's a good boy. And then we're going to do it again. And again, the other thing that I will say 1,000 times over is ending on a good note doesn't mean ending on this note. So if I'm working with my horse and I was really hoping to get a full body fly spray done today, and that's just not in the cards. What I want to do is, rather than working both of us to the point of exhaustion, to the point of frustration, I want to take my horse I want to take my horse back to, do you mind? So rather than working the horse back to a point of frustration, and me to a point of frustration, I want to take us back to the last exercise or the last thing that we did that he was okay with. So if it was a spray to the shoulder and a pat, that's wonderful. If it was simply holding the water bottle in front of him and letting him touch it and telling him he's a good boy, then that's what we're going to do. So ending on a good note doesn't mean ending on this note. I will do my best to try and find a horse that is nearby that is actually afraid of the sprays, so that I can show you in real time the way that we do this. And again, trust me, to say that Duke was reactive would be an understatement. He would fly back. He would pin his ears. He was absolutely terrified of fly spray. And now I can actually go out and fly spray him in the field without a halter on. There was one other thing that I did fail to mention, and that is, you'll notice I'm not doing this in cross ties. So I'm a big fan of cross ties, but when a horse feels confined, like they do oftentimes in a grooming stall, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure if you're introducing something that's scary. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to give them the ability to say no, the ability to back away when the pressure of something is a little too strong. So now he's not allowed to go super far, as you've seen in some of the other videos that we've done where he has spooked. He doesn't go to the end of his rope. He doesn't drag me around the arena or anything like that anymore. But he does have the ability to back off and say, that's too much pressure. So having him in a lead rope, having him in a halter that fits, these things are important, and allows him the ability to step away from an object, which is actually going to increase his confidence in it. So one of the best ways that horses learn to approach new objects is the approach and retreat method, which is essentially what we're doing with the fly spray when we are asking him to kind of come up and touch it or smell it, and then we move on to kind of the stressor, and then we're bringing them back and asking them to come back towards it again. So that's a little deviation of the approach and retreat method, but it's extremely effective. Now, there's going to be a lot of you that are looking at this video and you're thinking, that's going to take forever. And the only thing that I can say, and I will impress upon you in most of the exercises that we do, is that the steps take a while, but the results are fast. So I've never trained horses faster than I have using the behavioral training method. So yes, the beginning stages, the first steps that we do can sometimes be excruciatingly long, but at the end of the day, the learning that they have, the retention that they have is something that is unparalleled. So have some faith, try it out, and feel free to provide feedback if it doesn't work for you or you need to see it from a different perspective. Thanks.